For my creative project, I decided to do a YouTube video, and I did it on Cyrano de Bergerac, and this is about the playwright Edmond Rostand, and there's a picture of him there. And Edmond Rostand is a famous French poet and playwright who is best known for his play Cyrano de Bergerac. He was born into a wealthy family in France in 1868. Edmond received an excellent education in literature, history, and philosophy at the College Stanislas in Paris. He began writing plays at the age of 20 and gained success early in his career. His most famous play, which is Cyrano de Bergerac, was released to rave news in 1897. At the age of 22, Rostand married Rosamond Gerard, who was also a playwright and a poet. They had two sons, Maurice and Jean. Over the years, Edmond's works were shown on stage, turned into musicals, and made into Hollywood and French films. He was the youngest member of the Académie Française and won many literary contests. In his later years, he suffered from the pleurisy, a lung disease. On December 2nd, 1918, Edmond died at the age of 50 from the flu. His villa in the French countryside is now a heritage site and museum for the public to visit. So that is his biography. Some other plays by Edmond are listed here. I can't really pronounce all of those, but there's some of his most famous plays. And then this is him and his wife. And then the importance of Edmond is that he is known by many as the father of romantic and creative writing. He dreamed of reviving national pride in France and accomplished this with his main character in Cyrano de Bergerac. Cyrano exemplified heroism, courage, wit, and integrity as a Frenchman. The success of this play was proof to the world that historical drama was a viable theme for the modern age. Rostand's romantic and comedic plays provided a welcome alternative to the popular naturalistic and grim theater that was common in the late 19th century in France. Okay, the importance of Cyrano de Bergerac is that it is a perfect example of a late 19th century comedy. It is important to still be viewed and studied as it uses pathos to convey many of its themes. It is relevant today because most everyone who has faced unrequited love. Also, every person who falls in love becomes self-conscious about physical appearance, socioeconomic status, and reputation. The liveliness and excitement in the plot keeps the play appealing to today's audiences as well. And then there are my sources. And then I also did another poster board about the actual play itself. And here is the whole plot summary. And the main characters of this play are Cyrano de Bergerac, who is a poet, swordsman, and very smart intellectual. He is very talented, but is cursed with an extremely long nose that gives him many insecurities and prevents him from revealing his love for his cousin Roxanne. So that is a picture of him. And then this is a picture of Roxanne, who is Cyrano's cousin. She is a very beautiful girl and has a love for romance, poetry, and wit. And then this is Christian. Christian is a handsome and young nobleman who lacks wit and a love for poetry. He falls in love with Roxanne and joins the cadets early into the play. And then Ragueneau, I think is how you say his name, is a pastry chef and one of Cyrano's closest friends who has a love for poetry. He exchanges pastries for poems, which makes him very famous among the poets. His business fails during the play, then he becomes Roxanne's porter. And then Lebray is a fellow guardsman, soldier, and close friend of Cyrano. He worries for Cyrano's well-being and career, but Cyrano does not pay attention to his concerns. So to summarize this play, it is about a poet named Cyrano, and he is in love with his cousin Roxanne, but he is very self-conscious because of his nose, so he does not tell his love to her. And then she falls in love with Christian, who is also a swordsman and is part of the cadets. And so they fall in love, and while they are at while they were at battles, Cyrano writes love letters to Roxanne pretending to be Christian, so that way Cyrano can get all of his feelings written out onto paper for Roxanne. And Christian is not as good with words as Cyrano is, so he allows Cyrano to pretend to be him so that Roxanne will fall more in love with him. And then some of the themes of Cyrano de Bergerac are values and virtue. Cyrano is the defender of integrity, bravery, glory, loyalty, and honor. Another one is beauty, because this is about how inner beauty means more than the outer beauty does, because Cyrano faces that daily whenever he feels that he is not pretty enough or handsome enough for Roxanne. And then some more are love, because of the complicated relationships between Cyrano, Christian, and Roxanne. Lying and deception is another one, because many of the characters in this play lie and deceive to achieve their own desires. Both Christian and Cyrano cause Roxanne to fall in love with an ideal man who does not exist. And then the production, it says Cyrano de Bergerac was first performed on December 28th, 1897 at the Theatre La Porte Saint Martin in Paris. It played for over 300 consecutive nights there, and nearly every major classical theater company has since presented this play. It has been adapted into stage versions, films, animations, and operas. Cyrano de Bergerac remains one of the most famous plays of all time. And the play Cyrano de Bergerac takes place in the year 1640 in Paris, France, so that's the setting. It's mostly just about how Cyrano loves Roxanne, but he cannot tell her because of his outer beauty, and because he knows that she might not feel the same because she's in love with Christian. And so that is my creative project, and